Chicago.
On this first day of Black History Month, Unifying America. How a theater company is inspiring Americans to start frank conversations about race and bias. All right, coming up next, Unifying America. How a theater company is using art to confront and dismantle oppression. Racism and social injustice don't make for easy dialogue, but some artists believe the way to bring change to this country is to confront these difficult issues head on. CBS's Adriana Diaz continues our series, Unifying America.
My family discussed it, and I would like to buy some land in...
Sean Patrick Leonard says it was a role in this Chicago play exploring racism and healing that changed his life.
We spent the better part of like 4 months talking about racism. There was a lot of listening happening on my end.
The play was part of the theater group Collaboraction, which aims to spark dialogue about race through art.
Black women are marching.
But with theaters dark, they moved monthly dialogues to Zoom, like this one about white supremacy.
But it's certainly harder, I think, to hate somebody once you can see their story.
Because I feel as human beings, we have more things in common.
Collaboraction is led by Anthony Mosley and Marcus Robinson. Mosley started these meetings after his own awakening to help people confront their biases.
I catch myself having knee-jerk, racist, and misogynistic thoughts. But you know what? I'm aware I'm having them. So that is a victory.
What makes it important for us to engage this work now is to do what Lincoln asked of us, finishing the great work of our republic, to live up to its promise.
For Leonard, these conversations help him understand other people's struggles.
You know, I can only imagine what so many others have gone through and continue to go through. And I can use that to help others.
One conversation at a time toward a more perfect union. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Chicago.
Welcome to Becoming Unlearning White Supremacy, Collaboration's virtual workshop, where we support each other to unlearn white supremacy and grow as active anti-racists. It's great to be here with everyone on a very special day in history, National Racial Healing Day, the day before the inauguration. Thank you for sharing your life with us tonight. We're going to start our gathering tonight with a moment of silence in remembrance for all those that we have lost to COVID-19, now over 400,000 people. So join me in closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in, and holding a moment of silence. And you can exhale, of course, as well. Here we go. Sending love and light and blessings to all the family members that have been impacted by the loss of loved ones and the people that still have road to recovery and are fighting for their lives this evening. For all of us that are alive and kicking and on this Zoom, well, we have a lot of work to do. So let's get to it. Some things to remind you of before we begin, whether you know it or not, just showing up to this space is an act of courage and vulnerability. Good work. Let's keep it up. And also, let's not judge ourselves. We spend enough time being self-conscious and judging ourselves by other people's standards. Let's just make this a space where we are free to share and receive as who we are right now. And I found when we stop judging ourselves, we stop judging each other, and then we can do amazing things together. This is a marathon we are running together. Maybe it's longer than a marathon. It's a never-ending marathon. It is not a race. So wherever you are, whatever you need to sustain your work and continue it, you should give it to yourself, whether it's rest, a break, food, exercise. Let's pace ourselves. We got a long way to go. In 10 years, we're going to look back on ourselves right now and say, oh my gosh, Anthony, you knew so little back then. You had come so far, but you had so far to go, because we are retraining ourselves to see the world. We are retraining ourselves to see ourselves in the mirror with new eyes. This is, it'll be a life's work to reverse the impact of white supremacy in our world. And doing the work and then acting on it is the thing. So let's keep on doing it. As we progress on our personal journeys, we're going to change. And as we change, the world around us will change. Our perspective of the world will change. We have new eyes to see it. And all of a sudden, we're going to think and feel new things. Identify those new things, those new thoughts, manifest them. And we got a wonderful show for you tonight. Please use the chat to stay connected throughout. Our team behind the curtain will be dropping some links in there. Nikolai is here. I believe Emmy and Sarah and Marcus are all with us. And let's get things started. Collaboraction is a Chicago social change company. We use theater and video and dialogue to cultivate knowledge, empathy, and change, to dismantle systemic racism and oppression of all forms. If you don't know, I'm Anthony Mosley, Collaboraction's artistic director. I'm delighted to be joined by Sarah Muller-Swift, our producing director, and Dr. Marcus Robinson, our executive director. And all of you who have joined us, some of you for the first time tonight, welcome. Some of you have been at this campfire before. It's good to see you again. We are here at this circle tonight to give a place for us to connect and grow as we unlearn white supremacy. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce Dr. Marcus Robinson.
Wow.
From here.
Thanks,
Hey,
Anthony.
Marcus.
Hey, thanks, Anthony. Thanks for inviting me along. So, good evening, everyone. It's the kind of the National Day of Racial Healing, and I'm Marcus Robinson, the executive director, and I see a lot of familiar faces out there. So, hello to all the new people as well. So we're going to just go ahead and bring everybody in. So just bring everybody in so we're all in the same space together, because we're going to change the format of our Becoming workshop to a 75-minute sessions that will happen once a month instead of the twice a month thing that we used to do. And that once a month will happen on the first Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll be rolling with this new format tonight. So and we've created Becoming Unlearning White Supremacy. We've created a Facebook group to keep us all together, to keep the dialogue going, to share resources and to ask questions, be supportive of each other, and to find a way to, to deepen and expand our work. So go ahead and click on the link in the chat right now. You can easily join. So please come on in and let's be a part of the dialogue, keep the conversation alive. And please consider a donation for this work, something as little as $5 a month membership in our Together network, where you could get access to all of our global content and digital content, including The Light, Peace Book, Lift Every Voice, and so much more. And we just really appreciate having you all here tonight. And I'm just really glad to have the opportunity to introduce our producing director, Miss Sarah Muller.
Hello, I'm Sarah Swift. We're going to go ahead and start by checking in. You're going to check in with your name, pronouns, your physical location, and where you are right now on your personal journey to being an active anti-racist. Let's try to keep all our, where we are on our journey to one sentence. We have a lot of participants tonight, and we want to make sure everybody has a chance to share where they are. When you're done, pick someone to pass the mic to. If your video is off, we will assume that you want to do a check-in in the chat. I'll go first. I'm Sarah Swift, she, her, hers. I am physically in Chicago. in Buena Park in Uptown. And I'm at a point in my journey in which I'm really working towards being an active anti-racist in every part of my life, not just at Collaboration, not just when I'm teaching. And I think that's taking it more into my personal life. And I'll pass, Nikolai or Emmy, if you can bring us into gallery view, and I'll pass the mic to Sean Patrick Leonard.
Thank you so much. I would show my face, but unfortunately my video doesn't seem to be working. Anthony, if you could let my video in at some point. Excuse me, but I am Sean Patrick Leonard. I go by he, him, his. Let's see, I might be coming in there. I am, oh my gosh. I am here.
Hey, everyone, everybody go like this with your fingers. We're gonna make Sean, we're gonna pull him in. Sean, we're wiggling our fingers. We're giving you internet wireless connectivity. 3, 2, 1. Ah! Why don't we pass it on and let Sean come back to him when AT&T decides he has a good internet connection? Sarah, pass it to somebody else.
Take it over, Asia.
Hello, everyone. Asia with the Z. Don't let the Z throw you. Can you hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay, cool. I identify as she, her. I am physically checking in from Southeast Michigan, just south of Detroit in Monroe, Michigan. And oh gosh, yeah, one sentence. Are you kidding me? One sentence? How am I actively anti-racist? I am an executive board member of our Monroe NAACP, and I am I'm a pro-activist is what I call myself. So that is the short and sweet. And I will pass the mic to Andy.
Hello, thanks, Asia. I am Andy. I am he, him pronouns, and I'm on the north side of Chicago in the Avondale neighborhood. And it's funny, I was filling out a profile recently and I decided that I'd identify with the term abolitionist, and that's showing up in many areas. I'm on many calls like this. I lead calls like this. I'm actively part of particularly white men's groups who are standing in solidarity with BIPOC organizations. But it's a lifelong journey. I'm on the path, I'll just say that. And I will pass to Jess.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess. I use she, her pronouns. I am here in Austin, Texas, or so-called Austin, Texas. I'm on Comanche and Tonkawa lands. In my journey right now, I am coming to understand and interrogate my role in the larger picture as a biracial person, and also trying to identify areas in my life where I can surrender some of my power and encourage and hopefully influence others to do the same. Okay, and I will pass it to Pat.
Thank you. Pat Merriweather Argus, and I go by she, her. And I'm very excited about this initiative and also what it brings to communities and individuals in the Chicago area. I'm involved with Collaboration, and I got involved because of their work in social change in Chicago. I'm physically based right now in Naperville. It's a suburb of Chicago. And my goal is to not only increase my anti-racism activities, but also to engage others as well. So again, I really appreciate this opportunity and everything that Collaboration brings to bring about change. And I will pass it to, let's see who's sleeping out there, Evan.
Hi, my pronouns are he, him. I live in Hyde Park in Chicago, and I have been an anti-racist since I was in college, and that's a long time ago. My wife and I live in Hyde Park, which is a mixed community, and have for 50 years. So what I'm up to at this point is breaking down institutional racism. I just are rejoicing in the passage of the no money bail bill in the Illinois legislature. And we're looking to carry on and dismantle the war on drugs and reduce incarcerations. And I will pass it to Azia.
I love that you passed that to me. I lived in Hyde Park as well, but I already went. So let's see, who can we pop this over to? Let me go to my next screen. Gary hasn't gone, have you?
I have not, thank you. My name's Gary Mills. I'm on the north side, and obviously excited, as always, to be working with the Collaboraction team on any of the amazing work that they consistently do. Where I am in the journey, I'm listening. I'm trying as much as possible just to listen, especially to my Black friends, especially to my friends of color, and who have been incredibly generous, sharing what they can share with me so I can learn. But that's my main thing, is I'm just listening and trying to, be some wind beneath somebody's wings if I have in my position the ability to do that. Let's go, Carol.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carol Mcpherson, and this is my husband, Roberto. Everybody calls him Carpaccio. My pronouns are she, her, and what are your pronouns? He, him.
He, him.
Okay. And we both lived in Chicago in Belmont Cragen neighborhood for about 35 years, and just recently made a move to Valparaiso, Indiana. And as far as my journey with anti-racism, I would say that I want to learn as much as I can. And I think this also means holding other white people accountable for the words that they use and their actions, and not being afraid to call people out. My hope would be also to get more involved. And before, we lived in a very racially diverse area, and where we live now is not so much. So I would love to be able to make an influence in the area that we're in right now.
We are making a difference. I'm a Latino, I'm brown, so I'm making a difference in this area. And I'm very proud of my color and where I'm from. And also we work with Collaboration. We are the band of one of the best things that Collaboration did, La Habana, Madrid. So congratulations, Sandra and Anthony, for that. And my friend over here, Marcus. Yes, hello again, Marcus.
Okay, we'll cut him off now. And we'll pass it on to Tony if Tony hasn't gone yet.
I haven't. So before I get to the end, are the people with no camera and just nameplates, are they eligible, or are they out of bounds?
They're out of bounds. We'll hope they'll check in. Many of them have checked in the chat.
I saw that. All right, so got it. Tony Dunbar.
We need to let Jeffrey into the gallery.
Yes. Continue. All right. So Tony Dunbar. I live in Illinois, in the south suburbs of Chicago, right on the east end, on the Indiana-Illinois border, on the Illinois side. And I run over and get cheap gas from Indiana on a regular basis. He, him, pronouns. Where I'm at in the journey, living into my full potential. So the reason I say that is So this week, I'm fulfilling my full potential as a professor, as a scholar, as a podcaster, as a consultant, a personal coach. And those are just roles this week. So wherever there's work to be done, I'm there to do the work enthusiastically, or better stated, with affinity and alacrity. And the only thing I want to say beyond going out of bounds, because that's what we were asked to do, my last little add-on is what Anthony said about buckle up. There's plenty of work. None of us will outlive the work. So if you're tired, take a deep breath, buckle up, and let's roll. And I'm going to pass it to Laura.
Well, thank you, Tony. Hello, everybody. My name is Laura. I go by she, her, hers for pronouns. And I am the last house in the city of Chicago on my street. I'm in the neighborhood of Edgebrook. Where am I on my journey? I am learning more about my implicit biases, not only when it comes to my whiteness, but to other things too. But I'm specifically here because this was such an inviting group, and I think it will help me be a better ally to the BIPOC community, whether it's personally or professionally when I act or when I act as an attorney. Okay, sorry, I forgot to pass it to someone. You know what, Sean, we have Sean back on with his video, so we're going to pass it over to him.
Thank you, Laura. Can everybody hear me now? Yes, yay! Hello, everybody. I am Sean Patrick Leonard. I go by he, him, his. Let's see. I started my journey as an anti-racist when I was a child, but for real, about 3 years ago, when I did a play with Collaboration called The Blue Island in the Red Sea. Really opened my eyes, and to kind of piggyback what Gary said, a lot of listening. Lots and lots of listening, but I'm getting to the part where I am holding people accountable. So I think that is where I'm at on my journey. Yeah, I'm going to pass it over to Nick. I'm sorry if I botched your name. Is it Nikolai?
That is correct. Thank you so much. Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Nikolai Sorensen. Use he, him, his pronouns. Let's see, I am calling in from my apartment in Rogers Park. Where I am on my journey, I have my first tattoo is a proverb. It says, "Beyond mountains, there are mountains." The idea that, you summit one mountain, and that is, a reason to celebrate, but it is a reason to keep going. You can do that, and you can go on to something bigger. So I feel like on the eve of inauguration, it feels like we're sort of sitting at the top of the mountain. We get to appreciate how far we've come, and then we get to go down, start another one. We've got a bigger mountain to climb. And I will pass it to Margaret.
I think that I'm the Margaret. I hope I am. Great. So hi, I'm Margaret. I also go by Maggie. I am in Ohlone Lands in El Cerrito, California. And I'm in the practice of learning and thinking about how to accelerate anti-racist workshopping in my teaching practice, and also in the part where I am training my children to be active anti-racists. Doing okay with my 10-year-old. My 6-year-old seems to think that I become boring and dreadful when I start talking to her about social activism. So I have work to do in the social activism of 6-year-olds. as well as myself. It's a constant process, but they keep me in check and remind me when I am drony and pedantic. And I'm a costume designer, so I work in theater and film, and that's part of my exploration of this work is through arts and education and parenting and life. And let me find the participants list. Hand. It doesn't look like I see any other hands. I guess that's it. Was I it?
Let's invite Jeffrey Corbin up. His camera's up. Looks like he's
Okay, great. Then Jeffrey Corman.
Sorry for joining so late. So I'm kind of following the examples before me and think that's what we're supposed to be doing. So my name's Jeffrey Corman, live in Evanston. I'll start with my interest. My interest is looking for the best place to make the biggest difference, and it's kind of personal for my children. As Marcus knows, I'm the only white person in my family, so I get educated in a certain way all the time by the kids and Keisha. But I'm looking for, like, I guess, the tools and the language and the opportunity to do something besides just behave myself in my personal life. So that's it. Are we really done, or is there anybody wanna? Okay, Tracy.
Hi there. I'm Tracy Linney. I did that just for Marcus because we went to high school together. Anyway, she, her. I'm in Boulder, Colorado. My journey is, I've always been anti-racist, but I am at this point continuing to evolve and deepen by taking allyship trainings, listening, reading, doing workshops, joining community groups that are actively supporting, moving towards anti-racism. So that's where I'm at. It's the quick story.
Jay Kelly?
Hello, everybody. My name's Jay. I am he, him, his. And I am fortunate to work with Collaboraction in a marketing and kind of PR capacity. I have done it for many years, and really where I am on the journey is learning along the way with them over the course of how they've approached becoming a theater that's dedicated to social change. And it's been a great fueling mechanism for me and learning mechanism for me. And even in an event like tonight, I want to be here as a representative of Collaboraction because I want to walk the walk as much as I possibly can. And these guys really do a great job of leading the way. Thanks.
Kevin?
Kevin, got one more?
Sorry, is that me?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm in North Carolina. I don't use pronouns, so you just call me Kevin. Let's see, journey-wise, I don't know. Like, I actually feel like through my life experiences and reading theology and a lot of ethical books and a lot of historical books and everything, I kind of feel like I've come to the place where I feel like I have a good understanding, and I don't know how much of a journey I have anymore because I've kind of really done a lot of research into topics as far as racism and everything like that. So I don't know how much more I have to go because I kind of feel like I've kind of reached at the end, and I've kind of come to some assertions about it, and about how people should treat each other. So. But I'll pass it to whomever doesn't have their last hand up, or to whoever has it.
I didn't go yet. I'm Anthony. I'm in Portage Park, Chicago. I use the he, him, his pronouns. And where am I? I think I have two things to share. One is, and they kind of yin and yang with each other. One is, I've been dedicated to this work since the fall of 2012. I kind of had an awakening of sorts. And I've now spent a good amount of time working through the emotional, baggage of realizing my complicity and just how much privilege I have compared to other people. And, in so many different ways, other than even the obvious white male stuff, opportunity, family connections. I'm large and loud. So I've done a lot of emotional work and artistic work, and I want to learn how to be smarter and more efficient and get more done. I think I've wallowed enough in the feels, and now I want to employ intelligent design into my tactics. And the other thing I would say is that I also want to be humble and realize that I really have not gone that far at all. That I've figured out, my privilege and my fragility and my guilt and my classism and all that. But
this guy's a
the next level here is a place where I think things might get interesting. So,
dude, what's going on?
So I have to. What's going on, dude? We're unraveling the onion. So that's where I'm at. Marcus, where are you at in your journey?
Wow, yeah. So I'm Marcus, he, him, his. I hail from the Inglewood neighborhood on the south side of Chicago, proudly so, urban by choice. And so where I'm at on my journey, I've been on this journey since almost since my birth. My first real gig as in the social justice world was with my grandmother, riding with her to play with kids in migrant camps as she, attended to the needs of mothers and families. And somehow or another, even though I tried a whole bunch of other stuff, I've been on this journey. 62, I feel like I'm getting towards my summit kind of thing. So I want to now pass the baton to the youngsters in the group, the Nikolais of the world, so you can, find those other mountains larger than the ones that we are surmounting now. So about that, it's like this isn't where we are right now isn't the first mountain. Many mountains have been crossed, and the summits have been made on the American journey. We're about to watch a video that's going to talk to us about how the fear and the fear of loss of power can drive people to make choices that really put them on the wrong side of history, if you will, on the wrong side of the issue of apartheid and slavery and protecting all of that stuff that goes along with it. And so, what I'm about, if I can just insert this, is going after the systemic stuff. I don't much care about how you treat me and whatnot, as long as you treat me with some respect. Otherwise, I got remedy for you when you don't. But the issue that I need your collective engagement on is the dismantling of systemic racism, like what Evan Freund and I've been working on with others around the no cash bail in Illinois, no cash bail nationwide's next, like abolish the filibuster that was designed to keep racism and Jim Crow and everything else that was worked against it in place, right? Like get rid of the systemic stuff and much, much more. So we're gonna watch this film. I'm gonna stop talking about it because I think it's self-explanatory once we get into it. But I want you to watch the contours of the summits of how white supremacy raises its head based on the fears of everyday people. Please.
The violence we saw at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th was deeply shocking, prompting many people to say, this doesn't happen in America. But in fact, extreme violence associated with elections has happened many times before, often associated with issues of race. One extreme example is documented in the book Wilmington's Lie, the murderous coup of 1898 and the rise of white supremacy. Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist David Zucchino started writing it 5 years ago and says what happened at the attempted insurrection at the Capitol is no surprise. The anger fueled by fear, charges of fraud, and lies at the Capitol last week quite simply has happened before in American history, and author David Zucchino wants the world to know it. This was a tough book to get through. Why did you write it, and who did you write it for?
I wrote it because I went to high school and college in North Carolina, and yet I had never heard about this event. And I was shocked that something like this could happen in the United States. So I decided I really wanted to correct the historical record because the way that the white supremacists portrayed it was completely false.
The events he describes in Wilmington's Lie took place in Wilmington, North Carolina on November 10th, 1898. The violent overthrow of a multiracial government by a white supremacist mob. There have been plenty of other large-scale, racially motivated assaults through the years, including the destruction of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, nearly a century ago. But Zucchino, who won his Pulitzer Prize covering apartheid in South Africa, says Wilmington was something different.
This one was unique and distinctive because all of those other riots, there was a spark, and it was usually some sort of contact between a black man and a white woman. In this case, it was premeditated. It was planned for months.
Planned, strategized, and just like last week, involved a league of infiltrators aligned with the movement of white supremacy.
They themselves called it a white supremacy campaign, and it was designed to overthrow an elected government, a multiracial government in Wilmington, and it succeeded. It's the only armed overthrow of an elected government in American history.
In the 1890s, post-Reconstruction, Wilmington was an outlier, a town with a black population of 56% that found common ground with white populists and Republicans.
It was probably the most racially tolerant and racially integrated city in the South. You had 3 of the 10 city councilmen were black, 10 of the 26 policemen were black, there were black magistrates, there was a very thriving and successful black middle class.
And much like the current Stop the Steal attacks on President-elect Joe Biden, Zucchino says the argument back then insinuated that the black vote was fraudulent.
It was designed to keep black men from voting ever again and to keep black men from holding public office because this was an existential threat to white supremacy.
Similar to the present, voices in the media pushed a narrative. A local paper, the News and Observer, incited whites to overthrow black elected officials. And because 25% of whites were illiterate, it wasn't always with words. Then how they utilized art, political cartoons to carry the day.
Right. This was all part of the disinformation and the big lie. In North Carolina at that time, one of them had a picture of a black man that looked like a claw reaching out and grasping fleeing white women. I mean, it was just horrible, but it had a very incendiary effect on white voters. It just pushed all their buttons about the insecurities they already had.
But editor Alexander Manley pushed back in his Daily Record, the only black daily newspaper in the state.
He enraged the whites in August of 1898 when he wrote an editorial saying that most of the black men who were lynched for allegedly raping white women were in fact their consensual lovers. And he also pointed out that for generations, white men had been raping black women with impunity.
3 months after Manley's editorial ran and 2 days after the election, a mob of armed white citizens led by former Confederate officer Alfred Moore Waddell set the paper ablaze and forced out Wilmington's mayor and city council. 60 black men were killed in the streets that day, and black voting rights were limited for more than 7 decades. Some of those same techniques used in 1898 remain in the political arena today. Did you see the tea leaves in the election of 2016?
Oh, yeah. When he came down that escalator to announce his run, he talked about Mexican rapists, and he used that word, coming across the border.
They're bringing drugs. they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
To steal American jobs. And that is the same message that the white supremacists used.
We had an election that was stolen from us.
The big lie to the disinformation that if you repeat a lie often enough and loudly enough, people will believe it, and not only that, they will act on it.
So the legacy here, the lesson.
The lesson is that there is power in disinformation, there is power in lies, that it is quite easy for a skilled demagogue like President Trump and like the leaders of the white supremacy movement to incite people based on their fears and grievances.
Do you have any hope we can move beyond this?
Well, people like Stacey Abrams and the women in Georgia who worked so hard to fight voter suppression gives me great hope. In this country, there is that deep, deep undercurrent hatred among whites and fears and grievances who feel that they have no choice but to use violence to take back what they think is their country. And that worries me a lot.
So yes, so we've been around the horn, we've been up on the mountaintop, even celebrating our dear elder statesman, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. up on the mountaintop, seeing the promised land, a valley through which we have journeyed this last 4 years, maybe this last 40 years. But now we turn our faces upwards towards the next summit. What say you about overcoming the fear, the fragility of perceived loss in an equitable, egalitarian society? The floor is open. Please take the mic.
I have something to say. This is Asia speaking. You speak to fear, and the naysayers and the fearmongers had definitely got control of this area of Southeast Michigan because we had an MLK, a Dr. King Unity Peace March today. Unity Peace March. There's nothing to imply rioting, nothing to imply anything negative. Are you against peace? Are you against unity? Should not be. But the fear that has been instilled in people's heads, I got hundreds of texts, emails, Facebook messages telling me, don't go today. Don't go today. You can't go. You should cancel it. Everyone's blood is going to be on your hands. And I said, whoa, whoa. We cannot let the fear stop us from forward motion, right? Did Dr. King let the fear stop him? He still got up every day and got his message out. And he didn't let cold weather or rain or snow stop him. So that's my part. We just can't let fear take over. We just can't. There will be no progress if we let fear win.
Sweet. Anthony?
I would say this about the fear of losing power for white people is irrational, because when other people do better, it doesn't hurt white people. When Marcus and people in Englewood that are Black make more money, it doesn't hurt me or my family. When Latino kids get a better education, it doesn't hurt my family. It only helps me. It only makes my world better. I think we need to share the power as soon as possible with as many people as we can. And on an individual basis, we can do that. But until we get systems to help us create a level playing field, we're holding it back. And to me, being scared of relinquishing power is similar to a cancer. And we gotta take it out. And we can't do it with hate. We have to do it with love and laughter and dance and comedy And then we also have to be able to sit with each other in the darkest moments and listen and be there for one another. So
Yeah,
we got
thanks for
nothing
that.
to fear.
Yeah, that's beautiful stuff, Anthony. Thank you. I see a pensive face wanting to speak in with Laura Perry, I think. I just wanted to open the mic with you if I could, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
What are you feeling? What are you seeing? What can you share with us?
So I see the worst decisions that we make as human beings coming out of when we are fearful or when we are overwhelmed. And I think that to address the fear is to appreciate our differences, but concentrate on the things we have in common. And the only way that we are going to be able to share the things we have in common is by getting out of our own neighborhoods. We got to come together as a more global community, because when you don't get out of your village, you're not exposed to other people and you don't see how much you are like other people. So I know a lot of white people who are afraid. They're afraid they're getting passed over. They're afraid that they're losing some sort of power that they actually never had, but they're being fed disinformation that they're going to lose these things. And it is intellectually ridiculous. However, people really feel this way. I mean, they do. So we gotta show them how there's so much commonality between people that we can appreciate our differences and still find so many more things in common, and it'll allay that fear, I hope.
Thank you for that, Laura. In a way, is not white supremacy Darwinistic and a relic of survival of the fittest? This instinct that, if we don't get the food, if you get the food, that means we don't get it. It's not a zero net sum game. When a new restaurant comes into the neighborhood, it's good for all the restaurants. It's not bad. That's how you get a restaurant row. Who else? Open mic, please.
Just to add one more thing.
Yeah.
If we can persuade people that by picking up everybody, like you're talking about, then everybody benefits, I think that's really going to shoot us way up onto that mountain.
Yeah, thanks for that. Younger voices, I don't want to call you out, but I see a few faces in here that are a day or two younger than me. Okay, Jess.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so a conversation I recently had with someone who was very afraid, who this activity at the Capitol finally made the dangers of this administration, of potential fascism, yada yada yada. It finally made it real to them. And when I guess when and not just in that conversation, but I've struggled to articulate what it is or what it means to surrender power, or to in ways of bringing other people up that doesn't make white people immediately think that it is some sort of sin and penance, sin and redemption thing that they are owed. And I guess the only way, when I think about it, when I have tried to model it, I've said that it to me is not in that transactional sin and redemption penance way. Rather, I experience it more as personal, what's the word? But like conviction, like personal responsibility and conviction, and moving myself out of that victimhood. I feel like that doesn't, I don't know that resonates, or if that is just too I don't I don't know. I just feel like it's so intertwined with that idea of not my fault, so why do I have to be the one? You know?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what's cooking with you, Gary. What's cooking with you, my man?
So I appreciate that thought. For me, the challenge, and Dr. Marcus, you and I have been trying to do this on social media here and there, is reaching these folks who are family members, who are friends, but who are allies to the garbage that happened in Washington, D.C., who look at that and their first response when you say, this is horrendous and un-American and anti-democratic, their response is, hey, Black Lives Matters, burn down the police station. I didn't hear you. And trying to explain that these are two completely different. Black Lives Matter is a movement. This is something terrible and ugly and anti-democratic. And so that's my biggest struggle lately, is trying to fight the urge to just say, I am done with you. I went to high school with you and we were friends 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but I don't have a place in my life for you if this is what you believe. If you were marching there, or you feel that what they were doing because the election was stolen and Joe Biden is, it's not reality. And so that's my struggle. I literally have friends, and I'm wondering if anybody else on here does. I have friends who are close to me who I haven't talked to in a while because I'm scared where they've come down on this. Where when we talk, it's real quick texts, or it's how's the new baby? Have you seen that Netflix show? Because I'm scared to go any deeper, because if they say all lives matter, or if they say stop the steal, I don't know how I would be able to deal with that. And so I'm avoiding it a bit. And so that's my struggle. And Marcus and I, we try to be online. We try to be, understanding. We try to keep an open mind and listen and put our facts forward. And it's really hard in this environment where just things that aren't true, there's no evidence, it's just conspiracy theory, or it's just racism, and they embrace it. So that's where the biggest struggle on a daily basis for me is, how do I hear other voices and try to reason without just being so disillusioned with people that I just want to quit, or it's easier to just cut them out and just talk to people like the people on this call right now who understand. That's a struggle for me.
Yeah, brother, that goes a long way. I've got a story about that myself. A third of my family is white, so you can just imagine what that third is all about. It's not monolithic. I'll tell you that. But I am interested in the voices that haven't had a chance to say anything right now. I don't want to call you out, but I want to open the floor. Please say some words. Put it in the room. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll pick up the ball that Gary just gave us. I absolutely hear what you're saying about that fear of engaging, right? Of like, this is somebody that you have a tertiary connection with, and is it really worth blowing that up for the sake of this? And I think that fear is very real, and I think that we've talked about fear a lot. And maybe it's all of the huge fantasy novels that I read, but I feel like fear is really an opportunity for bravery, right? It is an opportunity, because I think fear is a reaction. It's something that happens instinctively that you have no control over, and what you do have control over is how you move forward with that and what you do. And I think that it's, especially in these past couple of years, it's so easy to get exhausted and to not want to just sort of say like, I'll let this one go. And I think, we all need to take those moments where we just sort of acknowledge like, I don't have it in me right now. But I always think about the other side of that equation, of the person who might need that voice who needs this person, the person who's going to be a bug in their ear, and who doesn't have, whose relationship with them isn't so bound up in the complexities of family or things like that, like these really close ties, but just somebody who can be like, who can continually just sort of introduce the idea that their reality might not be reality, that the things that they are experiencing, that there is something else going on, and that the things that they believe, just because they believe them, are not necessarily true. And I think that as frustrating as it can be to be the person who has to do that, and then take all of the pushback and the flack for that, I think that just maintaining the presence of truth and your opinion is such a valuable thing, because if we abandon these people to, this alternate reality, how do we ever get them back?
Yes, other voices that haven't spoken yet, please. Pat.
Okay, I'm on Facebook, and I had to actually defriend a couple of people just because they were so extremist in there, and I just could not. It was so upsetting that I couldn't. And I'd like to be surrounded by good vibes, and just in a different type of atmosphere, a peaceful atmosphere. But what I do look for, and I do work for in my work as well as in my volunteer work, is those that are on the fence. Those that may not be, just are sitting there, not supportive of what's going on, but not speaking out. And those are people that I think you can engage and get them to be, to speak out, to act, to work on, with the recent election, the voting in Georgia, helping, different groups to protect the rights to vote. So I think you can persuade them. Sometimes it's personal, but also it's how they can learn and look at themselves. I'm always looking at myself saying, am I really authentic in my approach? And how can I be better? And how can I lift up other people, people of color to positions of strength and leadership? And I do think that, again, I look for the ones on the fence because I just don't have much energy left sometimes for those that are way gone. And so I appreciate you, Gary. I'll send you a couple more people.
Yeah. I thought I saw another hand up. Was that Kevin? Yeah, let's go with Kevin, and I would love to hear from Asia again. She's done a great job really sharing her ideas in the comments area. So please do in the chat, put your ideas in there, because that's where the conversation happens too. What's up, Jay?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, just so I've listened to a lot of the comments and stuff like that. I'm definitely right down the middle of a person. I voted for Barack Obama in his first election. I'm from New Jersey. I live in North Carolina. I'm kind of in the middle. I look at things that people do in groups and everything like that. And, the defriending of people, I haven't done because I've actually engaged more now, and I'm slightly conservative. So I actually engage more with liberal groups now than I actually did before with Zoom calls and everything like that. So, as far as like looking at, what happened in DC, I look at that also with Black Lives Matter, and I look at other groups as well. So, I tend to call right down the middle, and I don't agree with what happened in DC and everything like that. I don't agree with Black Lives Matter per se. I don't agree with Antifa. So for me, I don't necessarily shy away from people like that. I actually talk to them more, and debate is the idea of civility at the long run. If the idea, and as far as the idea is to debate points and stuff like that, and to go by facts and everything like that. So I see a lot of emotions driving things. I think it's really important as learned people and people that read and are deep thinkers to not let emotion rule the day and actually to get the facts. You know what I mean? and not so much let your emotions rule knee-jerk reactions, which is a part of a reason why I do disagree with Black Lives Matter, in that a lot of it is knee-jerk reactions to things where things aren't known altogether and things just kind of happen really quickly thereafter. And listen, guys, social media, it's everywhere, right? It's driving your thoughts. Look what we're doing right now. Did you guys ever think 5 years ago we'd all be on a call and we're all over the country or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, so during COVID, we're all kind of doing this new interactions. And I think it's really important to debate ideas to people that you do have problems with, and not to run away from it. I think the people that do walk away from it are doing a disservice, because you know, I'm going on super liberal calls that I've got kicked off for just questioning Robin DiAngelo's book and our ideas. And right away I was thrown off with no see you later or nothing like that. So that tells me a lot. You know what I mean? But then again, I'll question a conservative on why they think something else too. And as far as losing power, I don't care who has power, and I don't care what skin color has power. It's more the ideas that I care about. Like, you can have a guy that's Thomas Sowell or, you know, Martin Luther King or whomever in power. I couldn't care less. It's the idea. To me, it's the policy and the idea, not the skin color. Like, you know, the skin color should be not the focus. The idea should be the focus.
Yeah.
And the policies. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's actually that's good input, and I appreciate you willing to hang in there in those tough conversations, because you know I'm a Bronco rider myself, and don't mind a polarized conversation with an honest heart for finding common ground. You know, because there lies the opportunities in the Venn diagram of our common ground. So I don't want to opine. I got the mic. I'm going to pass it to Margaret, and then ask her to pass it to Evan, and ask him to pass it to Andy, and ask Andy to pass it to Asia. We got a queue going here. Let's see what we can stack some wisdom up in here.
All right. Hi. Sorry, I had to switch to my kitchen because it's nigh upon dinner time, and I'm going to have kids to disappoint in a hot minute. Well, in about an hour when I try and feed them. I do think it's important to have representation. That I do think we have to look at skin color. I think we have to look at representation in leadership that actually reflects people's lived experience, and that means having a much more broadly diverse group of people leading us. That means more Black and brown people in power. That means more trans people in power. That means more non-binary people in power. That means more women in power. Because I think when we try and be colorblind, we erase people's lived experience. We erase those other experiences. And the thing that we learn this in technology, we learn this in politics every day. We certainly learn this in the way that laws act ignorantly, see taxing tampons. Is that when people do not have a lived experience and they're making decisions for other people, they do not know how to make decisions for everybody. And you need a broad coalition in a room to be able to accurately speak to other people's experiences. So while I appreciate the idea that it's about ideas, it's not just about ideas, because ideas come from people, and people have different experiences and cannot be displaced from their identity and how their identity has shaped them. And I think that is, you know, it's a humbling place to come to, where you say, my identity is essential. Yes, they tax tampons. It is women's health product. Women's maxi pads and women's tampons, Kevin, are taxed as a luxury good as opposed to a necessity. Ask any woman in your life if she would like to sit over a bucket for a week. For I think she does not. Women's access to that, a simple item like that, can change whether or not they can go to work, can change whether or not they can go to school, can change how they engage in their life. And women can be so poor they cannot access that material. All right, I'm going to take myself off air. And the next one was, did you say Eric?
Evan.
I'm terrible with names. Evan.
Yes.
I got the E part.
Thanks for that input, Margaret. You're spot on.
I think the gift of the arts community is to give people identity, social identity, and to help them to develop their own image of themselves and their contribution to other people. I think that a lot of the tribalism that we're seeing nowadays is fear. The world is changing so fast, and particularly the industrial and occupational world. And many people think that's their only identity. They're threatened because they may not keep their job next week, or they may not be able to find a new job. It's, I think, a worldwide challenge that jobs are disappearing to machines and people are losing roles. And when they don't understand it on why it's happening, then they do conjure up all kinds of theories, conspiracy theories as to what is going on and why they can't get a job as easily as their father did. So I think I tend to be pretty analytical, and I think that a lot of the way people are acting is due to the world around them and their understanding of it.
Sweet. Appreciate that wisdom. Nothing like an elder statesman. And Andy, I think you're next in the queue, and then Asia.
Yeah, I love the dialogue. I think what's somebody mentioned, it's it's really present for me. It's a lot of my work is how we're programmed. You know, I mean, if you actually, one of the things with when you're playing the video is just it's always a good reminder of this I don't know, this generational amnesia. You know, this uncanny ability we have to just forget everything, and sometimes that's quite intentional and quite by design. So, you know, the idea of manipulating people through media is not a new concept. It's just the tools we have now are the most powerful we've ever known, and the speed at which we can do that. And so I think, I don't know, that's a big question I'm always holding. And I do think dialogues like this, forums like this, where we can really meet each other and see each other, are the key. I feel like, you know, when we really can, you know, ideally break bread with people, but even in this forum, see each other, hear each other's stories, I think it's harder, maybe impossible, but that's probably too far, but it's certainly harder, I think, to hate somebody once you can see their story and once you can see their humanity. So I'm always asking that question, you know, what is it that could help us see each other's humanity, which I think theater is a beautiful form of that, the way you all do it. And a lot of my pursuit is, how can technology actually enable us to see each other's humanity rather than tear us apart from our humanity?
Got it. I appreciate that connecting tissue to humanity. I'm going to save my comments to wrap up at the very end. Asia, and then I think we're rounding the corner, so I'll get it to Anthony and let him, you know, do what his magic with this, because I know he's got great insight to share with us, and then we'll bring it home.
Yes, thank you so much for passing me the mic, Dr. Robinson. And Andy, when I wrote down generational amnesia, I think it is so important. I had this discussion with my son the other night that Generation Z and future generations, we need to do a phenomenal job of planting seeds now so that the future generations don't forget the struggle, the fight, and then the progress, right? They're so used to certain things being their norm that they forgot about the fight over here that our ancestors did, right? That we, our parents, our grandparents fought for. So it's very important to have those difficult conversations. And much like Kevin was saying, I do enjoy hearing other people's perspectives. And I do like finding the common bonds and the commonalities, because I feel as human beings, we have more things in common than difference, right? But my stance is you have to take a stance. You can respectfully disagree with people. We have to continue to have these dialogues and hear other people's sides without without just writing people off, right? So my initiative here in Southeast Michigan is having the safe space dialogues, so where people feel comfortable coming to me or comfortable talking to your coworker or neighbor or whomever it may be. And thank goodness for platforms like this, because we're connected to everyone around the whole world to hear all those perspectives. And I just implore everyone to keep, I'm the cheerleader, right? Like, stay optimistic, keep trying, don't give up. Love and light to everyone.
Yeah. I just want to give anybody who really wanted to share but didn't have an opportunity, I didn't call on them for whatever reason, to take a moment, put your voice in the room, and if there's silence, please, Anthony, take the mic.
Okay, I'm going to try this. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. I like hearing all of what everybody has to say. Some really interesting points. I know that some of the stuff that I've been working on is on myself and my, I guess, story in this world. And a lot of this has to do with shame and blame. Being a white person myself, there's a lot of shame there, just from our own individual stories of, not being better than, or not being, getting to the top of your profession or whatever it may be. And we need somebody to blame. And what we tend on doing is we take all of our own shame and we put it on other people. Hurt people, as Anthony has taught me so well. And sometimes that, there's a lot of shame that we all experience as individuals, in our life. And it's just, I've seen, and we've seen, 2 weeks ago, there was a lot of shame, that a lot of people were feeling, and however they wanted to justify it is what they did, and they needed to go and run into a building, and talk about it or do whatever they wanted to do. And so I think that, one of the things that I will continue to work on, and one of the things that I hold accountable to other white people, is that I try to get to the basis of where their shame lives, be it for me, I was, I had a father who left early, and some other things happened to me. And so I had to work on my own business first before I could ever share my business with somebody else. So I think that's important, finding out really, my entire family ditched me during all of this because they're all Trump supporters and they didn't want me in their life anymore, because of their shame. And when I tried to teach them about their white privilege, they basically just said, nope, block, out, whatever, like, I'm gone. And, it just made me think, wow, I've obviously hit a nerve. And so, I think that's something that is very important for me, is to continue to look inward and look at that shame and look where I can ask you about yours, and that you can be honest about yours. Because once you're honest about your own shame, then I think we can live together.
Sean, thank you so much for sharing. That really sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. And on a personal level, you've, in many ways, you've taken the baton and have outdone me in many ways. So I'm trying to keep up to your courage and your active anti-racism. And I thank you for inspiring me. I want to just take a moment to acknowledge how far we've come in the past 5 or 10 years. Just 2 years ago, if you said institutional racism, people thought that you meant racism within a university setting. Systemic racism was like the Transformers, like how the voices, we've come so far that we could now, from different families and different continents, our ancestors, got buffalo and ate it at a fire and looked at the stars, and eventually they put a marshmallow on a stick and they made a s'more, and we somehow got on this call together where we are sharing with each other and creating intellectual and emotional synergies that were never possible, not even a year ago. For us to be able to seep in the wisdom of Asia and Nikolai and the mountains and Pat and Evan and I mean, it's incredible. It's a new classroom that is creating new ways for us to be better to ourselves and each other. And so it's hard work. It can really take its toll on us, you know. And as a white person, when you've really, it's hard when you first realize all this stuff, the guilt, and you can't even really talk about it. You just kind of got to swallow it. Take it to the gym, take it to the bottle of whiskey, take it to the Netflix, you know. But eventually, you get past that, and then you see that the grass is very greener in a field of love and hope and potential and opportunity. So thank you for joining and making this thing possible. Thank you all for bringing your unique perspective. All of it is important and valuable. Dr. Marcus?
Yes. Thank you all so very much for your generous sharing and for your putting your truth out there and willingness to hang in there with each other, even when we found reason to explore differences rather than disagree. Exploring differences rather than disagree. Can you hear that? See, this is, I'm going to quote my friend David White as we close here, because it's 7:16. I want to give you back your control of your PC. And David White, you know, says, this is not the age of information. This is not the age of information. This is not the age of information. This is the age of fishes and loaves. One good word is bread to 1,000. Good night, everybody.
That was great conversation, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Marcus, to end on that note. Please go to the Becoming Facebook group to commit to an anti-racist action that you are going to take over the next month, and add any other thoughts or dialogue you want to continue in the Facebook group. We also want to invite you each to share one word that represents what you took away from today's workshop. We'll collect the words and post them in a word cloud from your input on the Facebook group. And I think my word to kick it off will be togetherness.
Pop the popcorn. Go ahead, throw a word out there.
Exploration.
Empowerment.
Inward.
Journey.
Invitation.
Magic.
Community.
Challenge.
I'm going to go with amazingness.
I guess mine would be collectivists.
Sounds like we got our words. Thank you so very much. Beautiful evening. Oh my goodness, Asia. Magic, community, invitation, challenge, amazingness. Oh my goodness. Oh, whoa. Yes, so good.
I'm a note taker. I can't help it. I was just archiving everyone's words as fast as I could. I cannot take credit for that.
Yeah, you gave us the cloud. I was just reminiscing, riffing off of your cloud.
Awesome.
You know what I love about groups like this? Nobody really wants to go at the end. I'm like holding the leave button. I don't want to.
Well, Marcus, you got a close out here. You want me to do it?
Oh yeah, I got the close up. I did
you got the closer.
Oh man, I thought I just landed one. So let me land you another one then. Apparently I didn't land it, huh? Well, let me say this. We're in the right place. This is the right time. We are the right people. We're the ones we've been waiting for. We must simply be the change we seek. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. This programming and Collaborations Together Network is made possible by the support from our sponsors, AV Chicago, the Mark and Jeannie Malnati Family Foundation, the Joseph and Bessie Feinberg Foundation, and all our amazing seasoned sponsors and people like you who can make a one-time donation at collaboraction.org, or better yet, sign up to be a monthly contributor for as little as $5 a month and help us sustain and grow and keep on doing the work. And stick around. We're going to show you our call time PSA that we made to share mental wellness resources for Chicago theater workers. And then go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to it and watch all the Peace Book videos for some additional resources. There's some great things there. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back on the first Tuesday in February. And please get in that Facebook group and let's share actions as we take them and responses. Happy Inauguration Day to everybody. You know, J-Lo's going to be there. It should be a celebratory day, and the pendulum will swing. We just got to keep on doing our thing.
It's call time for theater workers who need support with mental wellness.
Half hour.
Take a half hour.
15 to places.
Take you 15.
5.
Thank you 5.
Places.
Thank you places.
Hi, I'm calling about a friend who might be suffering from depression. I heard you had virtual support groups.
Hi, I'm calling to learn more about the financial support for therapy sessions. I've been thinking about starting therapy.
Hey friend, I've been thinking about you. How you doing?
These are difficult times. Theater workers are feeling the effects of losing their livelihood, effects like depression, anxiety, and mental illness. Join Call Time. Pick up the phone and call someone you care about. Or call the National Alliance on Mental Illness Chicago's free and confidential helpline, 833-626-4244. You'll find a listening ear and connections to mental health and community resources for yourself, advice on how to support friends or family, and the new NAMI Chicago virtual support group. And Season of Concern can help cover the costs of therapy sessions for Chicago theater artists through its Biscotto Miller Fund. Share these call time resources to aid theater workers and destigmatize depression, anxiety, and mental illness.